welcome back to the Rising Empires Weekly 14, the War Chief Club. We've got Koinu, the man formerly known as Sire, here on the Chinese in the purple trunks. He's up against Matiz today in the green trunks on the Rus. So we are through the grand final, the best of three here, with Matiz coming straight through, Koinu having to fight through from the losers bracket. So it'll be an interesting battle. The culmination of all the players' efforts in this tournament. That's high view today. A lot of hidden area on the map because of the stealth forest. Now Rus player getting a scout out of the town centre. So Matiz is only going to go to the 2 scouts, and Koinu's actually had a second scout faster than his opponent. These days, with sheep not worth any gold, I guess there's less emphasis on getting the early game gold for the Rus. So if we switch back to regular UI, we have a look at Matiz. He's up to 75 gold now, but by now you'd have 15 or 20 gold out of your starting sheet. So these guys no longer worth any additional gold. Haven't been for a couple of patches now. It's actually been something that's been around for about 4 or 5 months, 6 months maybe even. But yeah, the early game Rus trickle system took a bit of nerf, not in terms of the gold trickle, but in terms of the bounty trickle, because sheep no longer contribute. So we've got age ups ready to go here for our players. Golden Gate on the way for Matiz. Koinu not going to be terribly far off. He has gone for that Imperial official to start with first. That will pay off in the long run because he'll probably want to go for Song Dynasty. Song Dynasty, whether you go 1 or 2 TC, is generally the way to go. Pretty much all matchups gives China such a huge gain to their villager train time. And I mean, you get the benefit of the double drop off and, you know, the map control of the Barbican. I mean, not double drop off, the double coin generation through taxes. So that'd be quite big for that gold eco for Koinu. So his academy going down, and yeah, it's going to mean his mining camp, his mill, and whatever production he chooses to put down around the edge of this as well. It's really going to benefit from that. Probably going to go for a Barbican behind it. In terms of the build order, in terms of where it goes on the map, it'll probably be more aggressively placed. It's only a single vill making the academy. No need to really rush it out, because I mean he's going age 2, but he really probably wants to get Song Dynasty quickly as possible, rather than age 2 quickly as possible and hold up Song Dynasty. Not sure who actually got that kill, but go back and it looks like Matiz is at 200 bounty score, which is good. Not great, not bad. Actually fixed my overlay, sorry. Put that on. So Golden Gate landmark, age 2 here for Matiz. And so he's got first tier of that empowerment. And on top of that, he only needs to kill a boar to be able to push it to second tier, which is sort of where he wants to be. Anything beyond that's really a gain. Like if you can get to second tier before that nowadays, particularly with the gold bounty for sheep being taken away, if you can get to that second tier without even getting to boar, like that's fucking excellent. But that's going to require basically stealing one of your opponent's hunts, sheep kills. I mean, deer kills, sorry. Or you have to take pretty much every wolf on the map without your opponent getting any. So there we go, Barbican now for Koinu. He's going for that Song Dynasty, so his H2 will be great, but the real benefit of this early on is that villager production. Villager production speed, so he can actually go to a quick castle age and really make use of the Chinese gunpowder. Same it is. Got the second town centre now. Well, Koinu gonna go for second town centre as well. And if he gets there, because he's training villagers 5 seconds faster than his opponent, he's going to be well ahead of Matiz's production speed. Like, it's essentially a villager every 10 seconds once his second town centre kicks in, which is huge, but Matiz goes from every 15 seconds to every 7.5. So he'll still stay in the lead. Like, no matter what you do with one-upping town centres on the Chinese player, the moment they catch up, they're once again ahead. So Matiz, basically once Koinu goes to second TC, he's going to have to push, or castle then push, before Koinu either pushes or castle then pushes. Because China, that eco is phenomenal with their improved villager train speed. And all it really takes is a second H2 landmark investment, which, I mean, it sounds expensive, 600 resources, but it certainly will pay off. So Koinu just waiting for the stone so we can get that second TC out here, I expect. So he's actually going to place a second TC over near the berries rather than the hunt itself. But I suppose it's actually got more... It's got more resources out of it, I'm not sure which. I suppose it leaves it safer and closer to the sacred site, is the idea. Like, well, it's just as... Oh, it's slightly closer towards the base. And it's further away from Matiz, I think, is the main idea. So Matiz is going for a third town centre this early on, because then he can produce a villager. Yeah, every 7.5 seconds as well. So this way really now is keeping up evenly with the Chinese economy. As, you know, Koinu has that Song Dynasty improved trading speed. But it'll be a very boomy game here. Looks like Koinu walling himself in. Starting out at the furthermost point, working his way back. Because it's a lot easier to just have a scout of his own here and then just safely cover all this in case the villager, you know, gets killed here. He's got a scout still over here. Not sure if you can actually really see that gold mine. Yeah, you could just see the gold mine actually. So he's seen Matiz pull off the gold mine. So Matiz going for a lot of military production now. Neither player is going for any age up just yet. I suppose neither could really afford to, as such. So Koinu has a 5 vil advantage, but now that Matiz has the, or 6 vil, sorry, but now that Matiz is the 3rd town center, train speeds are even between the two civs, or average train speed, sorry. Matiz making the early army investment. He's forced Koinu to get a couple of spears and go for an early tower there. Koinu's hesitant to really invest much more than this, but he's nicely walled in. So things are looking good for him. Nice garrison there for Koinu, paying attention. And Matiz not going to be able to generate regen health on the knight. He's not French, but in saying that, you know, even for 15 health, it's not really worth it for a French player to have the chivalry tech because it is quite expensive. So siege Engie on the way here for Matiz, while Clock Tower is on the way for Koinu. He's defended this pretty minimally. He's got no cavalry yet. He's only got a pair of spears, but he does have that production there he needs. The second stable's finishing up. And yeah, that Clock Tower, if he gets that done, it's going to be difficult for Matiz to just rely on Knight Bowman, because they can be a mix of Lancers or Horsemen plus Spears, and potentially a nest of bees, which would be able to decimate any infantry, including ranged infantry. And it isn't going to be cheap to invest in siege engineering. Well, I mean, invest in rams after it. Sure, to be able to take out the outpost. That's the town center. You need to get a couple of rams. And now with Lancers out in the field, these guys can be stronger than early knights, and there's no spears really to clean them up. So it's going to be a nice push to start with here for Matiz, but his composition is really going to start to lag as soon as Koinu gets these units out in the field. He's got Nest of Bees. Tower's going to fall. A couple of villages going to go down here as well, so that's a nice kill there for Matiz, but be careful to try and take out the spears. Kill the Lancers off as quickly as possible. Now the Nest of Bees comes in, so this is actually going to deal some impressive splash damage. A lot of the ranged actually falling to the town center there as well, so Matiz having it back off for now. Koinu, he's pretty comfortable in Castle Age now. He's got the granary going down, a lot of farms around it too. Great food eco for him. He's not going to have to worry about expanding around the map to get food. Matiz is going to mount another push. He hasn't actually got... So he has got some armor. Yeah, he's got ranged armor and ranged damage. He hasn't actually got any melee armor against the mostly melee comp here for Koinu. He's really only got the siege and his static defense for any sort of range damage. And the siege doesn't even deal range, it deals siege. So another Nest of Bees out now. A third and fourth on the way here. And Vil counts are dead even now. So Matiz did well to snipe a couple of villages there earlier on. And Koinu's still slightly lacking in terms of the army size. But it's going to be hard for Matiz to push in. He's only just got castle now. He's going to have to try and seize as many relics as possible. And I mean, Koinu going to be able to add a monastery of his own. He hasn't yet, but I mean, the objective of trying to play in quick castle isn't to try and get the relics as quickly as, say, Mongols and HRE. Emphasis is more on just trying to make use of your nest of bees and really stay alive through having invested in the Song Dynasty early. Siege workshop now for Matiz. He's interested in trying to bait Koinu somewhere here. He's, you know, finishing off those walls once again. So the Barbican been upgraded with the Springald. Some lances here. Being a bit of a pest for Matiz, dropping a couple of villages there. Now those lances of Koinu are going to have to get the fuck out. This fortress unupgraded. Perfect timing here for Koinu to push on it because there's nothing here to back it up. It's just going to fall. So he's going to clean up 180 resources. He's having to bring his cavalry back to try and defend his gold mine as well. Koinu's continuing to try and push him when the Knights actually missed this. So a few villages are going to go down here. And now Matiz is looking to actually stay on the gold because he doesn't want to lose gathering time, but and he sort of does pull the Lancers back in. Matiz, it's a much bigger army at the moment, but Koinu's definitely seems to have all the map control at the moment. Matiz walling up and pinching all the relics, so if he can really make use of this relic gold, all the more power to him here. It's up to 2 relics, with a third on the way. What is he doing? He's just chilling. This other relic. Not going to be easy for Matiz to take. Oh, and the second town center doesn't actually have any innate damage like a main town center, so it's going to force Matiz to have to garrison into it. But saying that, the Springald, ooh, not going to be able to get a shot off. It's going to get one. Koinu has his own Springalds here. Focus down. Matiz's Springalds and he's going to get them. The Nest of Bees is going to make this a very ugly fight if Matiz chooses to stay. So he's going to have to back up for a moment and try and transition to getting even more siege and some cavalry if he can. There's so many spearmen there for Koinu already. It's going to be extremely difficult to break the Nest of Bees without the Springalds. He's cleared Koinu Springalds for the moment. He can bring his own forward, Matiz, but there's more Springalds coming to join the action. There's spears can't engage for Matiz until those Nest of Bees are being zoned out of the fight. So Matiz's Knights and then doing the pushing, but they're now forced back by some defenders of Koinu. He's starting to chip away at the barracks. It was nice for Matiz to seize the opportunity to take that relic, because I think he's already up to, so he got 2 of them. And he's got another one at the back of his base he can grab quite safely later on. So he's all the way up to 4 relics now. So he can go for all 5. And really start to pull ahead of Koinu in terms of eco and army size, because he'll be getting the improved the improved gold trickle. Won't necessarily have to have as many villagers out in the field. Koinu really starting to catch up in terms of army size, so Matiz was actually ahead in that front. He just had no means to engage without enough Springles to wipe out all the siege. And I mean now, I think there's only the 2 Springles for Koinu, so Matiz should be able to just delete those and start working away at the nest of bees, but he left it too long because Koinu is also just about maxed. Koinu is looking to try and keep up here, but he's actually going to have to take out the wall first before he can get through. But bringing minimal army up here to do this sort of makes it difficult for Matiz to deal with. He's going to have to bring some crossbows and some spears and not much else because he's got to stay back and defend. This tower attempt not going to work. The Springle count still really favouring Matiz, but ooh, there's a lot of nested bees there. A lot of Springles are engaging each other. The nested bees continuing to creep forward. Very risky for Koinu to bring them up like this, but he is going to be able to get away with it. Actually, he's got enough spears there, I think. So while this is going on, Matiz is trying to take out the keep, but he's brought a regiment of spears, and now that's a lot less units back at home. The last of the nest of bees, the last of the Springles is cleaned up on both sides, so there are a handful of nested bees still here, making this a very ugly fight for Matiz because he's got nothing that isn't countered by them. No cavalry over here at the moment. It's going to be very rough. And the spears unable to take out the keep, so I think Koinu may have done it now because he's going to be able to push onto that wood line, kill a lot of villagers. He's going for a forward keep here. Springle Tower coming out now. This is going to delay Koinu a little, but Matiz is going to have to try and get an army up, and if the Springles get picked off and villagers keep getting pushed off resources, it's going to get increasingly difficult for Matiz to do anything here. He's got plenty of gold in the bank, so he's alright in that regard, but he needs more wood, more food, and more wood to try and replace buildings as they start to fall here. Actually, he's probably over-gathering on wood for the moment. He needs to get back on food and add more military production. And I think Koinu may have done it here because it's going to be very difficult to hold on to this monastery once a trebuchet or 2 come forward. Another aggressive keep here by Koinu, so this is going to cut off this wood line. But admittedly, I think Matiz probably should be focusing on food gathering at the moment because he just needs an army to actually fight the spears for the moment. Does have a bombard. He's got his age 4 in the midst of all this. Raiding by Koinu is really going to interrupt the food eco here for Matiz, and still he's sitting on a lot of gold and a little bit of wood. He can probably get these guys off the gold and get straight onto farming and wood gathering up here. Maybe some stone gathering for, another town centre to replace these villages he's losing, because looks like he can't actually really mount any pushing here. He's gone for a bombard to try and take out the keep, but it's not going to last. He's going to have to try and sacrifice all his villagers to repair it through this. This is a lot of spears. It's only a handful of Streltsus to actually clean this up. Some of them aren't actually in the fight just yet. Just going from bad to worse, and Matiz having a tap out of game number 1. So Koinu is up 1 game in the Grand Final Series.